Hello and welcome to Season 4 of the Sunday Podcast, presented by sportsshoes.com. I'm Ollie Lum.
And I'm Matt Seddon.
This podcast is all about elite distance running in the UK.
We're here to give you all the latest news updates around the sport,
as well as weekly interviews with athletes and coaches.
Stay up to date by following us on Instagram and X at Sunday Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel too, where we post athlete workout videos, shoe reviews and more.
Thanks for listening, and as always, we hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, welcome back to a little bonus episode of the Sunday Plod. Matt and I obviously on a bit of a Christmas break now till the new year with our main episodes, but obviously Euros went down today, so we thought we better chat through those races as we won't be able to do that in our normal episodes. What I would say, if you've got any feedback about the pod or anything like that, please feel free to fire over an email, info@sundaypodcast.com, or send us a DM on Instagram or Twitter, whatever, as it'd be good to take some ideas from you guys into the future season 5, mate. And with that, I guess just a big thank you as well from us, mate, isn't it?
100%. Massive thank you to all the listeners and keeping us going, I guess, and growing the podcast. So yeah, appreciate all the love and support. And yeah, we've got a few plans of our own for season 5, but intrigued to kind of hear if you guys want us to take a slightly different angle or include different areas of the sport, or whatever you kind of have in your heads of how we can improve and continue to kind of, I guess, break the mold a little bit and report on British distance running. So
yeah, we might not listen to you, but yeah, send us a suggestion. It's always good to read them, so we appreciate that. But yeah, we also hope you enjoyed the Kipyegon episode as well, because I think that was pretty cool for us to be able to sit down with her a few weeks ago now, just to literally like going through her achievements prior to recording that interview. It's just like, even though she's done it, but like when you just break it down and look year on year what she's done, it's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mate, and some of the lads I coach reminded me that she's never done a podcast ever before, so that was pretty cool, pretty sweet. Got to thank everyone involved to sort of managing to contact Miles Edwards and obviously guys on the ground in Kenya as well, who kind of sorted that one out for us, and obviously thank Faith greatly and Timothy Keatum, her husband as well. So, but yeah, hope there's some good snippets in there, and as you would expect, a very humble Kipyegon, because that's just who she is. But yeah, so I mean, that was the big one. That was 200, and I guess we're, like you said, with this bonus episode, we just obviously want to wrap up. We couldn't let Euros go without kind of discussing what's just happened.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's get into those races. Should we start with the creme de la creme, those senior races? Actually, we can start with the fact that GB won overall in terms of the team prize. That's always a bit of a weird one, because we obviously have those individual team prizes or team medals. But then, yeah, GB won the medal table overall. So a good result. But I think something we've come to expect from Britain in European champs, right?
Yeah, the team prize, is that actually a thing, or is that just unofficial?
I think it's just a medal table, not they don't get an extra medal for that, but yeah.
Right, I hear. I see. So wait, you've confused me now, mate. So the medal table it includes team medals as well.
Yeah, team medals and individual medals, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah, okay. I guess
across all age groups, everything. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, well, in that case, we absolutely pissed it up as usual. Yeah, like you said. Yeah, which was very impressive. But yeah, where should we start then? Senior men, senior women. I mean, obviously it was the Jakob show. Actually, I was a little. It was a weird watch. Yeah, I mean, he's just so good. He just manages to dictate races at the right time. Look, we got to probably go back to the start, and I just got hats off to Hugo Milner. I mean, he takes it out. He's comfortable at the front. He's fearless, and if that's kind of his approach to how he's going to get the best out of himself, fair play. I do admire that about him. But someone who had a huge run, by the way, Rory Leonard, that run should not go unnoticed. Like, I know he was 7th, but guys ahead of him, Jakob, Cripper, Ndika Manayu, Scrub, Armgren. Like, these guys are ridiculous. They're 27-minute runners over 10,000 or just sub. They're incredible half marathon runners, and Jakob's obviously an incredible 1,500 and 5K runner. So the company that Leonard, if you like, was kind of the best of everyone else. He was even beating guys who are 13:0 runners over 5,000,
Give him a
and this is
shout, didn't he?
oh yeah, yeah, but like more the Belgians. I think we
Mm.
mentioned a few, like Heymans is a 13:02 or a 5K runner, and Olympic finalist. And he's putting these guys to bed, and he was battling with Almgren for quite a bit, who is a phenomenal athlete. Obviously, we spoke to him, and so that's actually a huge run by Leonard. And if I know for these guys, it's still December, for some of these professionals, but it's still December for Leonard as well. Like I presume he's got a long way to go, and I think off the shape he's clearly in now, he can't be too far away from a good 5K. So I'm not sure what his plans are, but I think he's probably seriously thinking about getting over to America and popping a 5K indoors. 10K on the roads, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't even thought about the Valencia start list yet, but yeah, he must be in some good shape to keep that sort of company over sort of 8K or just under, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a big step up for him, right? Like it seems like Roy Leonard's been on the scene for a long time, but has been through the junior ranks. Like obviously under 23 age group's a bit weird, but would he have been under 23s last year or the year before? Year before last, maybe?
What, Leonard? Ah, yeah, good question. I think so.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not too long out of under 23 age groups
no,
anyway, is my point.
no.
And so to really come and announce himself, I think excellent run from him. Particularly after obviously he said himself, like not a great race at Liverpool. And he's really got it right today. I think back to Milner that you mentioned as well. Yeah, like what I read about Milner is everyone will be the first to. I think people might be like, "Oh, why are you like doing all the work at the front?" But everyone will be the first to say when if he just sat in and did nothing about it, then doesn't get a medal, then everyone would be like, "Oh, well, why don't you make something happen yourself?" And that's what, like you say, I love about Milner is that he is willing to go out there and make something happen himself, and as you say, he backs his strength, and that's in his eyes, and I'm sure in his coaching team's eyes, the best way for him to try and get a medal is to run away from people.
Yeah, I think someone's got to move it along a little bit, haven't they? I think if Milner wasn't there, I mean, Cripper looked to want to get things moving, so maybe he would have done some of the work a little bit. But yeah, even someone like Jakob is not going to lead every step of that race. And so I think you kind of do have to get it moving and kind of have some sort of breakaway. But also for someone like Milner, it's like, okay, well, how can I maybe ask the question and test those guys in sort of the top 15 who, he's going to try and compete against. But knowing him, he probably came in here thinking, really, can I break into the top 10, top 8? I mean, he was really high up last year. So I see no reason why he wouldn't have tried to sort of match that performance.
Mm.
I just got to correct myself as well. Leonard was ninth, actually, wasn't he? He got out sprinted by a couple guys on the line, but he was in seventh for over that last lap for quite a lot of it. So but yeah, and then back to Jakob though, he just he did just comfortably win that, and he clearly is. He's recovered after Copenhagen, which by the way was what, 8 weeks ago. So he's had his off season after that, and
Does Jakob
so
have off season?
well, he did mention after Copenhagen he was going to have a bit of a rest, because it was his birthday and stuff, wasn't it? And he did want to, it had been a long year, and he did say he was going to have a little bit of time off. And so, even if he had a week off, he's sort of, started to rebuild back up. Maybe he's had sort of 6, 7 weeks of training. But, for someone like Jakob, is he really ever unfit? No. And so, but he comfortably just pulled away, didn't he, from the rest of them? And I thought, yeah, fair play. I was hoping Ndika Manayo, who I was backing beforehand, wasn't I? I thought he would maybe give it a little bit of a challenge. And
Well, who did I back, mate? That's what I meant to say to you as well. And you said he's not getting a medal.
Ripper. Yeah, he did look good on the turns and stuff. It's funny, mate, that we should talk about the course as well, because I thought the course was just dull. But
Yeah, I don't know if it was the course that was dull, but it certainly didn't
a lot
help.
of
Thought
athletes,
the I thought the race was dull, like to be honest, and I don't know if sometimes that's the coverage because it's really hard to see. I don't know. Anyone who's there, yeah, send us a message and let us know because I do think it is a very different experience when you're at the course.
I just think it was. I think it was the
Uh,
course. I think the course wasn't that appealing, but yeah, they'd clearly planted a few seeds of grass down on what was, don't really know, just like rubble.
mm,
Um, and there was no, but actually, I kind of when I was watching, I was like, this is just, where's the challenge? Where's it going to get testing? Where's the kind of fun part of the course? And there just wasn't really any part like that. But then when you listen to the athletes in their post-race interviews and stuff, I think it was a lot more technical than it looks. The
mm.
sand, I think, definitely upset a lot of athletes' rhythms, and that was very challenging. I think even that little hill was challenging, and the logs and stuff. But yeah, it is going to be challenging, but it's hardly. I mean, remember Italy 2 years ago? Turin, where Emil ran that hill and then through the building. I think the problem is we've been spoilt for Eurocross courses. I even think back to so they had Lisbon pre-COVID, didn't they, in 2019? And that was mega. That was a really twisty, testing, hilly course.
Mm.
I think, yeah, I remember Jakob winning there. I think Gressier might have won the senior men's there, or maybe it was the under 23s. Oh, maybe that Swedish guy got done for drugs won the senior men's actually that day. But and then obviously we had COVID, but then since then, we had Dublin, which
Yeah,
was just,
really tough course, really good atmosphere.
yeah, which was incredible. Obviously Brussels last year as well, which was just fantastic.
Yeah,
And I'm just trying to think of the one in between as well. It's on the tip of my tongue.
yeah, Italy, mate. You just said it, yeah,
Oh yes, yeah, I've already did, yeah, and Turin as well, which I
yeah,
thought was another like cracking course, and it had lots of different variations, and lots of kind of, I guess, wow factors. Whereas this one just didn't have any of that, and I think
yeah.
that's what I kind of found quite difficult watching.
Cardiff Cross needs to put in a bid, doesn't he?
Yeah, they just, yeah, I still think, cross country should be held in venues which, one, you can get crowd right up on the course.
Mm.
Other thing, the crowd looks to be a little bit distant from parts of the course. And then you do need some sort of, I guess, statement pieces, whether it be really, and sometimes, Brussels, they don't really have that, but it's just so muddy and so twisty that it's like, okay, well, this is just going to be a testing course in itself. So you kind of don't need to run through a building like you did in Turin that time and have that absolute mountain that they climbed up for 100 meters or so, which was bringing 13-minute 5K runners to a standstill. But yeah, anyway, that's my rant on the course.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the senior men's, to be honest. Like nothing much to report. And what I would say, the senior women's Batacletti, very similar to Jakob, right? Just chilling for most of the race, and then finish and look like she hadn't even stretched her legs, to be honest. Like
Class
complete.
apart though. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
just class apart, and it shows. And do you know what's good is that Europe is actually what leading, well, say leading the way, but we've got athletes who are virtually the best in the world. And
yeah, they're out there. They're absolutely world class. Yeah,
yeah, and we always talk about this. I do think athletes on the continent, within these countries like Italy, like Norway, they take European cross country really seriously, and they always turn up. Like Jakob, what's that? Is that his third senior title, and God knows how many European medals he's won. Um, and I kind of, I think sometimes we do look at the GB team, we think, yes, you might be training for a 5K indoors or something like that, or a marathon, but could you turn up? Like Cripper
yeah,
was there today. He was having a great ding dong with Jakob. And yeah, and Batacletti, silver medalist over the 10,000 there's not really a better endurance runner in the world right now than her.
I think
So
so.
yeah, it was easy for her.
Yeah, especially when you compare to our under 20, 23 teams, where that is the place to be. Liverpool's the place to be. Eurocross is the place to be. Like the seniors,
Mm.
definitely on that men's side. I guess nowhere to be seen. Some of our top guys, but I think what I guess the issue is the qualification for these major champs is so difficult now that any risk, like going to Eurocross or Liverpool, potentially will disrupt that. Because like,
Man, I
well,
disagree. I disagree because who are we talking about here? Like, I mean, Charles Hicks, I would love to see him on the cross again. God, man, that guy cross country is his event. I
yeah,
don't
we're
know
talk,
why.
we're talking we're talking Caress, I guess. Mark Scott, you can still have him in that category. Jack
Maybe
Rowe,
I think these guys, yeah,
uh,
Paddy Diva is one who I would love to
Perez,
see as well.
Diva.
Um, and the thing is, we talk about, yeah, they might have to do an indoor 5K, they have to go get the standard, they have to plan for a world champs in September and stuff. But mate, the BU, it wasn't the BU invite, but I can't remember what they call it. But in Boston last night, Graham Blanks, 2 weeks after NCAs, 12:59. A couple UNC guys 2 weeks after NCAs, more of a mid-distance background, so you would argue probably harder to kind of sharpen up and get into shape. They do NCA cross, they then go and both run 7:30 for God's sake.
I don't
So
get me wrong, I'm not saying it's impossible. I just think that the way the sport is, and and,
no,
and
I'm saying it's very much possible. I'm saying I think a lot of the NCA system shows that it is very possible to basically run really well over cross country and peak for cross country, and then within 2 weeks turn around and run a ridiculous time on the track. And you can say what you like about Boston, in the five. Graham Blanks, mate, has just run a PB for 5,000. Parker Wolf, Ethan Strand have just run PBs for 3,000. I think there is an element of overthinking it a little bit. I do get the summer season, the fact that you have to be in a different place mentally, you have to have more races under your belt because you're qualifying and you have to get through those
these
qualifying.
guys aren't worried about the world champs next year. That's not on their mind. They're
They
purely locked
are.
in.
Graham Blanks wanted to, like, he would want
Nah,
it.
but in the
Graham
moment,
Blanks
mate,
has just banked his qualifying time. He ain't
they
dropping
are
back.
purely locked in for NCAA cross. Like it would be a completely different mindset if, in that moment in time, Emil Caress, right, he's gearing up to run European cross country, and that is the biggest picture at the time. And then he goes off the back of it, runs whatever he runs. It's a completely different mindset. And also, these guys, they're basically preparing for a 10K road race. If European cross country and Liverpool cross was a 10K road race, yeah, they'd all go do it because there's no risk. But I think the difference in the terrain and
NCAA, look, as much as NCAA is flat and whatnot, it is not flat. Sorry, good surface. It's not flat, and it's not a 10K road race. Like, it does have, that Wisconsin course. It is hilly.
no, no, but
Um,
what I'm saying is you're never going to run in an American cross, right, and roll your ankle on a tree root or
no,
like
no,
get
no. But
sucked in
mate,
bog
hold
and,
on, hold
and
on,
do your Achilles in.
mate. Liverpool cross, yes, it was muddy and stuff, but come on, it's perfectly safe. And if you're a guy who could run 30 minutes for 5,000, you would have dispatched the Liverpool cross pretty easily. Okay, that cross today, NCAA courses are more testing. They are.
I'm not saying necessarily more test. They're less technical though. It goes back to that point.
Oh, mate,
Not about the
there was a few,
difficulty
there
of.
were a few sharp turns and some laid down logs. Like, we're talking, like, it's, yes, technical, but it's really not that difficult for these. Like, they needed some sort of
Don't get
challenging there.
me. I want them there just as much as you. I'm just
Yeah.
talking
No,
both sides of the
yeah.
argument.
No,
I
all I'm
think that's
saying is that
what they
I
would say.
think I think a lot of people avoid cross country this time of year because they associate, oh, if I'm training for cross, I can't go do something special. And yes, you might not have the fine tuning and, I guess, the racing instincts that you need in peak summer to perform at trials and stuff like that, because you just simply haven't got the races in you. But when you're fit and you can cash in.
Mm.
It's like in Armagh, it's the peak of the cross season. Everyone goes to Armagh and they run fast because they're probably in that period in the winter, low key at their peak endurance, aerobic endurance, and their peak overall fitness. They might not have the sharpening. And this meet in December, which is basically every year, is slowly just proving that the fact that, and this is after an NCAA season where there would be a heavy come down. Like someone like Blanks has won the NCAA, there must be a bit of a party, a bit of a come down after that. And then he's out there running 12:59 solos the last K off 1,500 meters, mile or so, and Parker Walton, Ethan Strand, by the way, these guys 21 years of age, 7:30, their last 1,600 meters 3:56. It's staggering. Shannon Flockhart also ran 8:45, by the way, for Providence. So she chose obviously to go to
Mm.
Boston and not do the Eurocross.
Yeah, and that is Oh, just off a world standard, I believe, or European indoors.
May I haven't got it in front of me, but
But
yeah,
yeah,
probably. I mean, that's fast. I mean, it's top
I'm
10
pretty
in the
sure
league.
standards there or thereabouts. It's
Yeah,
there or thereabouts.
actually, I would probably say definitely because 8:42 Georgia Bell ran indoors last year, and that was bloody quick. So
Yeah,
8:45 is very good.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Anyway, we
anyway,
digress. Back to
wait.
that.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
one more thing that we should talk about is on this senior men's team, Scott Beattie having passport issues doesn't. I think his
Yeah.
passport expired from what I've heard. Don't quote me, but so he's had difficulties getting out there. Obviously, hasn't been able to get out there. Zach Mohammed, who was obviously ill at the trial, comes 40 something today. Callum Johnson, meanwhile, sitting at home like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think
You can't write this. You can't write it.
yeah, absolutely. I think the Scott Beattie one, yeah, well, if it is passport, obviously, I think, yeah, as the athlete, you've got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's on him.
that's your
That's
bad.
unfortunate. That is unfortunate. It does happen. That's something I would do for sure. But yeah, that
I don't think you, mate. I don't think you would if you had a. You might for like popping away for a holiday, mate. I don't know if you would for European cross.
well, no, I think yeah, but if you're say your passport's coming up, about to expire, it is, I think, and you're a professional athlete, you're kind of always traveling, so there's never a convenient time to, I guess, go through that process.
Hmm.
Renew your passport. It's quite lengthy. It takes a few weeks, doesn't it? So maybe he just kind of was putting it off, and he was like, "Oh, I'll do it the next time. I'll do it." And but yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
But Callum Johnson must be awfully frustrated because I think even Crammy and Paula were saying, obviously he wasn't a traveling reserve or anything like that.
yeah, yeah. And then, like you say, Zach Mohammed, obviously great athlete, but it's like we said, well, like we said previously, when the trial is so close to the race, I don't think you can be ill.
If you're so ill that you can't
Yeah,
look, Rory Leonard was ill on the day,
yeah.
still made the team, and I think and this is why I do think if you are
That's
ill,
how good. That's how good shape you need to be in. Or if you're that ill, then you're going to miss a week's training anyway, or a week's proper training. So then you're going to be,
it's gonna affect you, maybe
yeah,
more than a week. It
yeah,
is gonna affect you, and I think, and obviously it has. Like that's Zach Mohammed won't be happy with that result today.
no,
So
absolutely.
so
Um,
there's I guess I guess that's the senior men's drama. So yeah, sorry. Let's get back to the senior women's. Back to Coletti's dominance.
yeah, good
And
run from Kloster Halfon as well. In second place, kind of chasing her down, and obviously those the senior women Brits got that silver medal as well. Obviously, Kate Axford, who we had on last week, 10th place, and Jess Gibbon just behind. Great run from her. I mean, Jess Gibbon is just consistently like in the teens at Eurocross.
yeah, she's a great cross country runner. She is, and um, yeah, unfortunately, I guess you can't make a career out of being a great cross country runner, which is a real shame. But she is super, and yeah, she deserves some praise. And again, stepping up from the trials at Liverpool and literally a second behind Axford. In between those two as well was a lady called Neve Allen who gave birth 3 months ago. Comes 11th at Eurocross, Irish lady. That's big. That's impressive.
That is impressive. Just yeah, just on Gibbon, like, do you think we'll see her crack like a 5K in the next couple of years? Because I feel like, well, it must have been like 4 years on the bounce now. She's had really good Eurocross results.
I
But
think
then,
injuries have plagued her, haven't they?
yeah, compared to like the 5Ks of Eurzy Fries, yeah, Abby Donnelly and Kate Axford, you just,
Mm.
yeah, on the track 16:10 and
Yeah,
15:47 on the road.
it's just yeah, it's just injuries. But the company she's keeping, I think she could take a lot of confidence from today because
Mm.
it was as much as I think it was potentially a little bit soft on the ground. It looked a little bit uneven and stuff, and yeah, there was sections of sand and a little hill and stuff, but it is going to favor a sort of a really strong 5,000, 10,000 meter runner. And so I think Gibbon should take a lot of confidence the fact that she was second behind Kate Axford, in front of Izzy Fry, these sorts of people. I think obviously there's not going to be a night of 10,000s this year, but it would be cool to see Gibbon crack the 10,000 on the track as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just looking now. So yeah, in Ireland, 21, she was 11th. Then in 22, she was 14th in Italy. Then yeah, like you say, couple injuries. Well, an injury in 2023, but then yeah, then today obviously what 11th.
Yeah, it's just the track seasons don't really exist
Yeah.
over the last few years, but yeah, super consistent and performing really well again and Axford. It was a tough battle there. I thought we might have had a few ladies break into that top 10. But I think it was very tight to be fair. We're talking about, I mean, what was Kate Axford, like 5 seconds off the top six finish,
I think that's
six
it,
off the
and
top
it's
six
similar to the
finish.
way we're talking about Roy Leonard coming ninth. Like the standard in Europe is
It's very
staggeringly
good.
good.
Yeah, very good.
So actually, if you come in the teens, like it's still it's a really good performance. Like in both those senior races.
Yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, good way for Britain, I guess, to end the year. They didn't win the team title, unfortunately. Obviously, Batley helping Italy win that. But a team who did, those under 23 men, Barnico, Griggs, and Stone.
Yeah, wow. Obviously, this is what we said. We were like, oh, David Stone, like ridiculous run at Liverpool. Can he beat Barnico? And it looks like Barnico kept his cards sort of close to his chest at Liverpool. I wonder how much of it was considered, or maybe even on Liverpool, he just didn't kind of think David Stone had it in him to go all the way and run away from him. But today, he certainly made sure of that. And then we obviously mentioned, yeah, the Irishman Nick Griggs as well in second. So great to see. Great
Do
to
you
see
know?
that. Um,
Do you know what was impressive for Barnico today? Was the fact that he's fighting to hold Stone off in the last half a mile, right? And those two start ramping things up, and you could tell Barnico just didn't want to give the lead up. Like they were kind of side by side. Barnico just had they're both hammering it. David Stone is absolutely cooking it at this point, and then if Barnico finally breaks Stone, right, and he starts to drop off a little bit, gets a bit of a gap on him. And then it's like the Griggs is then going to come past Stone, and then Griggs is trying to get back and fight with Barnico. And I think if you're Barnico by that point, you've just done pretty much all you can to kind of get rid of your
mm,
team, slash rival in this case. And then you've got bloody Nick Griggs, on your shoulder. But hey, if there's a man who knows how to beat Nick Griggs, it's Barnico. He's trumped him on a couple of occasions now, and I think Griggs, he must hate racing him.
yeah, and Barnico he's just ridiculous on the cross country as well. Like he's another one, and I think look, he is still young and he has run pretty quick now on the track, but the way he races cross country, you got to think that a ridiculous performance on a track is coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's already 13-19, isn't he? And I think he'll break 13-10 this year. I think I haven't seen this David Stone on the track, but that was a pretty fast course today. Well, I actually haven't seen sort of any splits and stuff of I guess how
Oh,
fast they
it's
were.
hard, it's so hard to know, isn't
It
it?
is hard to tell, but I think David Stone as well, looking at the way he was able to close that race, looking at the speed he was holding, and he was right up there early on as well, and sort of dictating things. So uh, it's going to be exciting what he can do. But I think, yeah, both of these men, if Stone is can translate this performance onto the track, I would expect them to be 13-15, 13-10 next summer.
Yeah. Yeah, and one debate, mate, me and you were having just before we start recording actually was where do Laros and George Cootie from the under 20 race, where do they finish in this 23 men's
Mm,
race?
yeah.
Do they take the 1-2 and these boys behind?
Mm. It's yeah, it was an interesting, it is a cool debate because I think when you look at those Boston results in the NCAAs as well, it kind of shows how good a run Kuti had coming 14th. Um, and you're like, goodness, is Kuti in 13, 15 shape right now? Because there were, by the way, guys he beat ran like 13:20 in Boston.
Mm.
So I was like, whew. And again, yeah, Laros is a phenomenal 1500 runner, and whether he can translate that to the 5000, I presume he can. Um, it would have been a good battle, and this is what it's a bit of a shame, I think, with this under 23 age group is you don't like it would have been a great battle basically having the under 20s and under 23s together, or obviously just bumping even the likes of sort of Barnico and Stone just bumping up to the seniors, see how they
Yeah,
could
I,
compare.
I think
Uh,
Barnico would make our senior team.
yeah, that's yeah. Well, do you know
I know,
what, mate?
obviously, at Liverpool, but he's not
I'm
worried
gonna
about
I'm
it.
gonna disagree with that. I am gonna disagree with that. I don't think Barnico would have made our senior team.
Interesting.
So, but the under 20s and the under 23s, if they merged, that would have been a great race. Kuti was unfortunate. Nielsen it looked like at one point he was going to have him. He was giving me Cole Hocker vibes as well. The way he was going to his arms and stuff. That last 100, that must be like a Ben Thomas special. And I did think, if anyone's got a change of pace and able to find that extra gear, that's what Ben Thomas gets out of his athletes. And I thought he could do Laros here, but Laros just had a little bit too much. But yeah, impressive run from him.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I guess from one NCAA athlete to the others, Phoebe Anderson in the under 23 women's took the win. And again, we were talking, she came 26th for the NCAAs 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
That cemented her place in the British team for Euros ahead of some people who ran the trials. And look, she's done what they all kind of want to come and do, and that's prove her place, and she certainly did that.
Yeah, hats off to her, to be honest. I mean, last week we were talking about what's an NCAA place worth. There you go. Sums it up. Tia Wilson as well. I mean, I was kind of like, really 60th or something in the NCAAs. Does that translate to a top four, top three at Liverpool? And yeah, it does. What was she, sort of 15th today, and a strong run from her as well. So credit to both those girls, and I think it does show. Sometimes it's easy to forget, but it shows how strong the NCAAs is.
Mm. Yeah, and especially given the travel as well, and like you said, I guess the highs and the lows and the emotion of that NCAA season. It's off the back of that, and then come into Europeans as well. It's not just the performance or the shape. It's the whole kind of the whole roller coaster that is the NCAAs.
Yeah. And to be fair, for someone like Anderson, she's got herself back to the UK. She's then flown out to Turkey. That has been quite a big couple of weeks for her, but fantastic progression, and that will certainly sort of catapult her career. Hell, she might even sign a nil deal off the back of that. Um, and Amir Wardman as well. Give her a lot of credit because she's just improved every single race this season. And literally even more impressive than her Liverpool result, comes sixth for GB. Second woman home behind Phoebe Anderson.
Yeah.
Sort of just 22 seconds back as well. So yeah, our under 23 women. I guess surprisingly, I mean, we didn't kind of bill them to go there and dominate, but they did. So fair play. Well done.
Yeah, and more domination over in the under 20 women's as well, with obviously Innes and Jess Bailey in the 1-2 over in the under 20 race. Innes Fitzgerald, obviously you've had her on the podcast previously, and she just continues to show
Hmm.
why she is the best, I guess, up and comer in the UK right now.
Yeah, she was very impressed. I mean, Crammy was making references, reminds him of Paula in
Yeah.
many ways. Just the way she's able to kind of push herself, the way she likes to front run, all these sorts of things. And it is Paula-esque the way she carries herself out there. And I just think as well, it's hard to appreciate how difficult it is to lead a race from gun to tape like she does every single time. I don't know how she copes with someone like, Bailey was kind of behind her, wasn't it? Erla, the German as well. They were just sitting on her. guess they weren't sitting, they're probably hanging on rather. But you've still got someone on your coattails for the best part of 10, 12, 13 minutes of that race before she starts to kind of gap and just break away. And I just think she must be so mentally sound in order to handle those situations so well.
Yeah,
And
and
I know people say,
yeah.
I know people will say, how does she handle when she's, I guess gets herself in a race where she might be a little bit further back. But even at the likes of the kind of World Cross, World Juniors on the track and stuff like that, she has still performed. So to consistently perform in these major events like she has, I think is a credit to her and her coaching system.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say, mate. It's not like she's doing it at English schools and Liverpool and Cardiff Cross Challenge. Like she's doing it at the European Cross Country Champs. Obviously, it's an age group
Yeah,
race, it's
dude.
20s,
Yeah,
but it is a big stage.
it is. I guess the challenge is obviously stepping into under 23 ranks, stepping into basically senior ranks as well. I guess that is the challenge. And I think as much as I think the NCAA again proves that you can be 20, 21 years old and you can be competing for senior spots. And I think I wonder what her goals are in the next two years, let's say. This summer, is her goal like is she eyeing world champs? Or is she, it'll be intriguing because I think obviously as you graduate from the under 20s, yes, you've got these under 23 championships, these European under 23s on the cross and the track every now and again. But it, for someone of her level, you probably think she would want to start competing with the seniors. Um,
I think so, mate. I think those under 23s are really for the athletes that have, I guess, not quite made those teams as under 20s, under 18s, like a kind of world juniors on the track or or yeah, World Cross and things like that. They're for them to start coming through and getting their first vest. Obviously, but apart from like your kind of cross country specialists like Barnicoat and people like that, that under 23s is a bit more of that. But someone like Ines Fitzgerald, yeah, she should be looking to build upon this and not just become a good under 23, but like you said, become a good senior athlete.
yeah,
Which is
and
wild because I'm on her World Athletics now. She's born in 2006, and it's just bonkers.
she's got another year at the under 20s. So I mean, that's where, there you go. That's where her goals will be next year. But I guess the following year um, will be interesting. Yeah, her development's incredible, and she still continues to impress and improve. So credit to Pavey. Down there in Exeter and studies she started at Exeter Uni now, I think. Studying there. So big sign for her. Damn, oof. Hey, look, how she can do a Bucks Cross. That's going to be cool if she does it. Could be a big matchup. Her, just Bailey, Cambridge girls. Big dust up. Um, okay, mate, where are we? There's that. I mean, obviously, mixed relay was, a good race. I guess worth mentioning. Britain did what we do, and we always come away with a medal in this event. Unfortunately, I was so close. For third. Literally, Italy, France, us all get the same time, and pretty even throughout as well. Obviously, there's some chopping and changing, throughout each leg, but pretty much, you could tell the way it was going from the off, that we were going to be in contention with Lay's strong kind of first leg, and then our two women, Maddie Dedman and Elise Dorner as well, ran identical times by the way, which was pretty impressive. Everyone ran very similar. I guess what was not annoying, but obviously the legs were all sort of all different lengths as well. Just kind of a bit confusing as a viewer when you get that kind of lap split, to try and compare how, I guess, for example, Tyler Billiard matched up against Josh Lay, but it doesn't matter. They're on the same team, I guess. But
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean though. Like it's just we get very little information on the coverage, and then that little bit of information that you could possibly get, like you say, is then a bit skewed. We spoke about this a bit before. I just, yeah, The mixed relay, I'm just not so sure. I think it's cool for people to get like a first verse, to get a shot, to like experience the team and stuff. But I just don't see how this like grows, or maybe I guess the argument is it doesn't never needs to grow, and it can just be used for that. It can just be a bit of a stepping stone.
Well, mate, I was watching it thinking, I think I'd rather just watch the men do a 2K lap and the women do a 2K lap. Like Liverpool short course, when they when they just race over a mile, it's
Yeah,
bloody good. Because
yeah,
it's a mile, but it's on the cross. So you've got all these different variables, and I think people blow up a lot worse than they would on the track. Obviously splits are out the window. You have to be able to take turns, like all that sort of thing. And I was watching it thinking, do you know what? If they just put all these men in one race, all these women in another race, I think those two races would be absolute spectacles.
yeah. Nah, I agree with that. I think it's a bit like
So
they're trying to do similar with like the mixed 4x4s, where because you have men and women in the same race, you then get like some crazy comebacks
but you
and
don't.
things like
Yeah,
that.
I guess if they're on different legs and stuff, but
Yeah, but
no
yeah,
one that
what
doesn't
it
happen
is
anymore.
just yeah, it's just
Everyone
a
does the same legs.
bit
And
naff.
yeah, yeah. It's hey, look, it's decent, but yeah, I guess I think I'm just a purist. I'd just rather watch them just bloody race, to be honest. Um, so yeah, so mate, that was Euro Cross. I think one thing actually noting from that short course is, or I mean the mixed relay, sorry, is Stefan Nielsen performed for the Netherlands. They got fourth. They were a little way off, obviously GB, but he then went back in the under 23s and raced there. And I think he was just outside the top 10 there. So yeah, busy day for him. But Tyler Billiard can take a bit of confidence because around the same time as Stefan Nielsen. Stefan Nielsen's Olympic finalist over the 1500. So I mean, where's Billiard going to be in Tokyo come 2025 in the Worlds
Yeah,
final?
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that pretty much wraps us up, mate, and wraps us up for I guess cross country on the international scene. Anyway, obviously you've got national cross and things like that, which we'll be covering. But it's all eyes on the indoors really now.
It is, and I think, like I said, with Boston just becoming more and more popular, it's all eyes on the indoors and all eyes on these fast races. As good as the results were from Boston last night, I would have thought there would be. I would have thought we might have seen a few more people do it. There were some amazing outlier performances. I think like Parker Wolf, Ethan Strand, Graham Blanks, and there were some guys in behind him as well. But the depth. It's crazy for me. I'm saying the depth wasn't there. I think still 23 men ran sub 13:30. But that's happening now in December. Christ Almighty, what's it going to look like in February? So I expect a lot of Brits will be planning their Christmas period and training to smash a fast 5K. And of course, we've got a lot of road races to look forward to. We've got the podium New Year's Eve event in Battersea Park, over 5K talk of Ines Fitzgerald. She's going to be there. So we've got that to look forward to. But yeah, as far as the podcasts are concerned, we're going to have a little break, be back in the new year, stock a few guests, and got a few lined up, which will be great. But yeah, I think we've pretty much covered, obviously, the Euros, Boston. Valencia was last week. We won't talk about that too much because obviously we all saw how that unfolded, and enjoyed a Kipyegon episode. And if you, by the way, I'll just got to give credit to the Thames Hare and Hounds crew who organised Varsity, because on a weekend where Storm Dara was threatening every event in the UK, all of them were cancelled except for the Varsity match. So just tells you all you need to know about Oxford and Cambridge and Wimbledon Common on a December date.
Do you win varsity, mate? I didn't ask you.
Yeah,
You did.
Varsity victory for Oxford. So it was a good weekend. Good couple weekends back to back for Oxford actually. So kind of now I guess all eyes on Bucks, and see what we can do there, as well as Cambridge, because I think their women's team at Bucks could really challenge. And I hope Oxford and Cambridge just get a little bit more coverage at Bucks, because obviously you've got some great talent hubs and X, Y, and Z in the country. But these two unis, I think, are going to be able to show their class in 2025. Fingers crossed. I don't eat my words.
Yeah, we should watch out for Edinburgh, mate. Apart from that, you'll be all right. Yeah, but anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you very soon.